All right, then we have this one here. The rules don't change just because you have a decimal. Again, we'll use our formula, which is area equals length times width. We'll plug in our length, we'll plug in our width, and then from here, we're just going to multiply through with our decimals. So remember, when you're multiplying with decimals, you don't have to line up the decimals. In fact, you kind of just forget they exist until the end. So we multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. I don't have to multiply through by that 0 because all I'm going to get is a row of zeros. I count up the number of decimals, our decimal numbers I have in my problem, which is 3. And I match that in my answer. So I have 0.36 thousandths as my answer. Now, that's area of a rectangle. That should be something y'all are pretty familiar with. A new one up here is called area of a rhombus. So these are rhombuses. They are like a square that's been pushed over to the side. And on your star card, it'll have this formula. 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. I like to do it like this. Diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2, or cut in half. They're the same formula. Choose whichever one that you prefer. Up to you. All right, so if we're going to find the area of this rhombus right here, I'm going to start by writing my formula. And I'm going to fill in my information. So diagonal 1 we'll call 10, times diagonal 2 we'll call 8, all divided by 2. So using my order of operation, I'm going to multiply. 10 times 8 is 80. And then after I do that, I can divide, which gets me 40. And again, I'm just going to use centimeters squared as my units today. Oops, I forgot to do that over here. Centimeters squared. Okay? All right, so try another one here. Again, writing my formula to start it with. Diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. Plug in what I know. I know diagonal 1 is 20 times diagonal 2 is 12. We're going to divide it by 2. You can pull over here if you're not sure what that gets when you multiply it out. I'm going to hang my 0 and multiply through with everything else. So I get 240. Divide that by 2. Half of 2 is 1. Half of 4 is 2. So I get 120. Again, we'll call them centimeters squared. So that's finding your area of a rhombus. You can try to do this one right here on your own and see what you get.